2.
You asked for it, you get it. Ryu and I will rip your photos into smithereens. Hold on to your headphones. Here comes the pain.
Matt mentioned that it feels like it's been a long time since we actually did anything in terms of training ground or podcast, and it probably has been. It's been like 3 weeks, I think. So I'd like to take here and there or here and apologize to all the listeners out there. It's like we've been kind of abandoning you. Like I've been out of the country for a long time, and Matt had like some problems with Matt things that he usually does, and yeah, we've kind of been a bit busy. So I think Rob apologizes as well. He didn't do anything wrong, but he's gonna apologize anyway. So the favorite the segment of the show, which is Training Ground, where we Matt Cohen and I we just take a look at your pictures and tell you how bad they are. Now, if it's good, it won't be here. So we're just gonna basically tell you how bad these photos are in a very professional, non-critical, eloquent, wonderfully, like very, kind of touchy-feely type of way. So let's get to
The
it.
thing is that I don't want to, preach to the already converted or whatever, but this is here to help you, and the group on Flickr is here to help you, and the podcast is here to help you. Don't, you know, don't give us pushback and attack our photos for us telling you to participate. That's what the group is for. So if you're putting pictures in there, they're fair game for this. If you don't want to participate, then find one of the other 50 dead sports groups on Flickr and put your pictures in there and get no hits from it and get no better at what you're doing. That's your choice. If you put them in our group, then if they're not good, they're going to come into training ground, or you're not going to be in the group anymore. Um, we had a little run in. Um,
With the police.
I just not with the police, but I just don't want. I don't have any room or time or energy to consider your ego and how good you think your pictures are. They're either good or they're not good, and your opinion of them doesn't matter. Um, it's the whole reason why we're here. So if you get asked to put them in the training ground, put them in the training ground. I don't want to hear anything else about it.
Because it's on the small print. So you kind of have to like go into the group description, side of it and just read it and see what it says. And it should tell you straight there that like, yeah, you're not, once you're in the group, you abide by our rules. If you don't want to, then yeah, you can get the fuck out. Really, that's it. It's quite simple. So with that wonderful note, we're gonna start out this wonderful training ground. So Matt Cohen, Mr. Tom Beery, I think he actually did something like this last time, didn't he? And he's giving it another try here.
Yeah, this one's actually better, I think, because the background is more uniform.
Yeah.
The people they're all wearing at least similar. Most of them are wearing similar jerseys. And it's not bad, really. It's not bad. It's not training ground bad. But
Mm.
it's here so that he can get better, and better would be closer. Um, More separation between the team and the fans. Even if you just kept the same lens on and moved closer, that's one thing. Or if you got way closer right behind them and shot with a wide angle lens, even if you wanted to keep the focus still on the fans, which is fine, it would just be a more interesting picture. Like this, if you look at it, even though the fans are in focus and the team is a little bit out of focus, it's a very flat picture, and that comes from being too far away. What you want is you want this picture to look like 3D, and it doesn't, and it can't from as far away as you are. It's not going to.
Just quick one. In this kind of situation, like I would look for one particular person in the crowd that your eye would actually go to. So for instance, for this one, it's the guy in the middle, and the guy in the middle is wearing a really boring black thing. So it doesn't work. To me, like I would just, I'm sure like you've scouted the entire scene and say, okay, like this is like where the concentration of the star-shaped jerseys are. So I'm gonna actually shoot from this direction, from this angle, and like from these people. But the problem is, like, it's nothing interesting. I would just at that point look at it really quickly and say, you know what, it's not going to work. And you have to then think of another way to do it. That's it. There's nothing more to it. And like Matt said, it's not a bad photo, but it's not going to be a good one. There's nothing else you can do. I kind of think that even if you like zoom in, it's not going to be that much of a difference because it's just not there. And it's you kind of like in certain situations you just have to like say be brave enough to say, you know what, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. I've shot it. I can just shoot it for 2 seconds, have a look at your screen and say, you know what, it doesn't work. I'm going to try something else. Because there might be another photo there that you weren't even thinking about because you're so locked on in getting this shot done. So things to think about. And yeah, there'll be more rugby games in the future. All right, Michael, and Bowden women's hockey, because we all love hockey.
So this is one of the things that I like to see. Like, I like to see things in between the camera and the subject, and then have the and then have there also be a background to it. It gives you depth. It gives you a less obvious picture than just somebody skating around and you took a picture of them skating and there's nothing in front and there's just a blurred out background. That gets really boring really quickly. When you shoot things like hockey and basketball where there's players constantly moving in between where you are and who you may be shooting, then these little holes are, you really want to put something in there, like find the subject, shoot it through that hole, and then use that as your composition. But it still has to be an interesting picture. Just because you did the work of, okay, well, I noticed where this person was going to be relative to everything else that was going on, doesn't mean that it's a good picture automatically. And what we have here is an awkward cutoff in the shin. You don't have the bottom of the stick. You don't have the skates on the ice. And those things aren't, they're not mandatory to have a good picture, but you also just can't crop them out willy-nilly like that. It just looks sloppy. So what could you do? Well, this kind of thing is going to happen a lot. I guess it's a face-off, and this person is a defender, I guess, maybe at the blue line or something. So it's going to happen a lot. I would look for this again and try to find a play that's actually happening, and then try not to cut it off awkwardly. The problem is that you could crop this to the bottom of her number. Are these women? Yeah, women. You could crop it off to the bottom of her number and eliminate the awkwardness of where you did crop it, but then you are losing probably the best part of the picture, which is the two people that are going for the face-off in the foreground. So this is just a throwaway. There's not really any saving it, but use the players, use the foreground as a compositional element to get something that's not just a single player skating around.
I agree. I think it's opportunity really missed, and the most interesting thing for me is that the look that that she's got on her face, and I don't know, like I would really concentrate on that. If you want to actually have some kind of stuff going on in the foreground, that's fine. But then if you have a higher zoom or like a longer lens, I would just really concentrate like on her eyes and her looks, and that's like the intensity is there. And you want to kind of mix it then with something that's going to happen in the foreground or background, but like you kind of want that more than anything else. That's what makes the picture. And like Matt said, like yeah, it's really really sloppy with the cutoff and the knees and everything. And yeah, it is basically a shitty photo. That's what it is at the end of the day. The idea is there, but the execution is just terrible. Mikhail. I understand what you wanted to do, but I don't think it works. It's the look. The look works, but the dude on the left and the dude on the right doesn't work.
No.
And yeah, and if it's just a look, everything has to be so perfect for that look to work. And if I just imagine like that dude on the left, this guy, the guy in the red, and guy in blue. If they're not there, it won't work either. If it's just an empty space, it just won't be. Because I think the guy in the back is really gonna bother me. So that'd be really a solo thing. and I don't think the background really kind of lends itself to do anything. So it's a throwaway. I like the intention, you know. You want to add?
No, the only thing I'll say, and we've said this over and over again, if the interesting part of the picture is really small, it needs to be really interesting. And so what you have here is
Yeah.
his face is a very small percentage. I don't know, 3% of this picture or something like that.
Mm.
If that's all it is, then it needs to be really interesting, and there can't be anything working against it. And it's not. I mean, it's a good look, but it's not great. And all of those other things are overwhelmingly distracting from what you're trying to take the picture of. So keep that in mind. If the point of focus of the picture is very small, everything really needs to be working, and it really needs to jump out at you. And when you look at this, really the first thing that you see is the guy in the red jacket, and he's out of focus, and then you see the guy in the blue, and he's out of focus, and then after you get through those levels, you get to the guy's face, and it's just not interesting enough on its own. And then to make it worse, you have a bad background and those guys hanging out behind him. So that's not going to work like that.
Tom Beery. I have no idea why this is actually like in such. Why is it like in? I want to make it smaller. How do you make it smaller?
No idea.
I don't know, it's too big. Because really, it's low. How do you do that? Reload. Block this ad. No. Alright, anyway. That sucks because I can just reload this. Will it work then? Did I just fuck it up?
I have no idea what you're trying to do.
Because see, it's like the resolution that is lower, but the screen itself is very high. You see what I mean? See, I know it's like I want to make the thing smaller. There you go. Suck on that. Alright. Yeah, it's good. It's a good shot. Will I pay money for it? No. But it's a good shot. It's all there.
So,
dad and the son and hugs and the smiles and wish it had tears or something.
Yeah, post game. After a big game, this is always going to happen. There's always going to be, even in the NFL, after any game, all the players go out there and shake each other's hands, and the coaches shake hands and whatever. And it happens a lot. It's a common thing. So you need to really get something to make it uncommon. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're shooting with wide-angle lenses is not getting close enough. And you didn't get close enough. You need to get your lens all the way in there. I mean, as close to the kid's face as the father's face is, that's how close you need to be. It needs to pop off the page, and it's good that you got in there, and it's good that you caught him smiling, and it's good that you got the hug, but it's not the impact of this picture. It's just take it or leave it. And really what you want to do is figure out, again, how to make this 3D, how to make it jump off the page. And one of the ways that you do that is to get as close as you can and then back up until it makes sense. And you're right here, you're still a couple feet away, and you need to be a few inches away.
When the game ends, I think for for football, like I think it's probably like any sport where you can get on the pitch or there's going to be some sort of celebration and whatnot. You have to for instance look for the star player or look for the guy who had a very impactful match or the captain. You kind of have to really scout really quickly and what those guys do when the game is over. I would have rather seen him if he was crying in this moment. At this moment, you shot him, and you got the dad. You fucked it up. You fucked it up big time. And you're gonna tell me like, how could have known? Yeah, well, you go there, you see. For like I said, you have to be very, very flexible with these things. Like you see it, you see the situation, you see it. Okay, I got the dad. I'm gonna go all the way around to the other side and see what he's doing. Like you gotta be boom, boom, boom. You know, because if it's a very emotional moment between these two people, they're gonna be hugging for more than 3 seconds. So you got 3 seconds, or even a bit longer, to get on the other side and do the same thing. So, you got to be very light, light on your feet, and so you got to be very fast in thinking what the situation is and what you can actually do as a photographer there. Like, you're there to actually tell a story, a very impactful story, like Matt said. Yeah, you have to be a lot closer than this, because in the background it's very noisy and it's very distracting, and it's not good. Like, the idea is there, execution much better than a lot of the stuff that we've actually seen before. But yeah, you gotta be light on it. You gotta be really thinking. Where can I go? Where can I go? Where can I go? Who can I shoot? And you gotta kind of like a good quarterback. Gotta go through your receivers. Go progressions and see. Okay, he's covered. He's covered. He's not covered. Okay, boom. I'll go over there. Okay, he's not crying. He's not crying. He's crying. Well, I'll go over there. More than anything else. He's got fat hair. Matt Cohen, it's your favorite tennis. You love tennis.
Ugh.
Tennis is good. And this by a middle-aged man is even better. Discuss.
So bad. So bad. So, what's the difference between this and somebody out there with an iPhone or a disposable vacation film camera? There's no difference. You've added nothing whatsoever. This is a frame from an iPhone video at best. You need, if you don't have a long lens, it's fine. Shoot the near court. Don't shoot the far court if you don't have the lens for it or don't have a good compositional reason for it. So what do we have? Well, we have a guy who's cut off at the shins. Absolutely no reason, because there's 4 or 5 feet above his head. Why? There's no thought went into this at all. I'm holding the camera up to my face, and I'm turning around a little bit, and I'm occasionally pushing the button. Absolutely no thought whatsoever into this. What do? Get closer to what you're shooting. Show him hitting the ball, or at least winding up to hit the ball, or a more interesting follow through than what this guy is doing. Like, this is nothing. I don't care if it's your first assignment. I don't care that it's amateur tennis. Tennis is a visual game. These people are, when they're running after the ball, they have to set their feet, so their muscles are flexing, and they have to concentrate through the swing, and the muscles in their arms will pop out when they're getting ready to hit the ball. There's all kinds of things you can do. Like, you could shoot tennis for weeks at a time and focus on tiny little differences and make interesting pictures all along the way, but not like this. And the first thing is just get closer to what you're shooting, because it's not going to make this good, but moving further away isn't going to help. So you may as well get in there and try and get as close as you can to it. I have no idea. Like, the only thing I can think of is that they told you to leave a ton of room on the right and the top so they could lay over text or something like that. I mean, there's really nothing else. There's no other reason for it to be composed like this, and it's just sloppy and lazy, and there's no thought involved.
No shit. It's absolute dog shit. Like, it's been a while. We've actually really bad photo, but this is really just shit. And if you don't understand why we're saying this, your photo is shit, then you probably just go to any old, like, you should start from the basics. Like, go look at pictures from the ATP tournament or WTA, and you just have a look at what people have actually shot. Like, even average professional. I mean, it's just horrendous. like really, really. I don't really go through the whole thing, but it's the same thing here as well, and yeah, it's bad, 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 bad. All right, now we're having like wonderful problems with photos being in really low resolution for some reason. I don't understand this. Like, why is it doing this? Here you go. Like if this is supposed to be like action-packed scene. Okay. Let's say it isn't. You're not going for an action. I like non-action stuff as well. Like I like it a lot. Probably much more so than like action. So I'm thinking like, okay, I want to kind of like incorporate everything around it, like so the lights and the crowd and like the landscape and everything that goes with the sport. And then kind of I would like to be able to actually shoot the moment. That's like, wow, it's really quite cool or lovely or it's beautiful or everything. You managed to do that part with the the flare and everything over here on the left, but you need, if that is the case, this guy needs to be doing something interesting, and he's just skiing, and I think like I don't know if like we kind of like he did like a thread on our Flickr group page saying something about like how people run or walk, and like you have to like get people like the shot that you need to be concentrating on is like the one that where he looks the most beautiful, and it kind of applies for this type of stuff. Like he doesn't look beautiful; he looks really awkward, and it's not really exciting. Awkward, not exciting. It ruins the whole thing. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not the best background in the world, and it's not best all these things, but like it's the guy just ruins the whole thing. Like he's not doing anything interesting. He doesn't look beautiful doing it.
He needs to be turning. He needs to be coming at the camera and then turning away at the last second, kicking up a bunch of snow. This is it. What were you taking the picture for? So you're communicating to the people that are looking at this picture, and at the basic level, what are we seeing? Okay, well, it was a nice day. It was real sunny, and you got out on the mountain. So those are the things that you're communicating. And then he wanders into the frame. What are you communicating to the people who are looking at this picture about the guy who's in the picture? That he doesn't know how to ski very well? That he's just out there casually cruising? Or did you just pick the wrong place to be because, I don't know, he had to slow down because he was going to go through a gate? This needs to, again, it needs to pop off the page. He needs to be jumping, or he needs to be in a really tight tuck, or he needs to be digging in the edge to make a really sharp turn or something like that, because you're asking for people's attention and then you're not delivering on what comes, what your delivery is the picture, and you're under delivering on any kind of interest at all. This guy is almost not skiing at this point. He's basically just standing on skis. That's all. There's no motion, there's no snow coming up, anything. I mean, it's just you've sucked all of the energy completely out of the picture.
It's kind of like those motorsport photos where your shutter speed is so high that it's basically stationary. Like the wheels are basically they're not even spinning anymore. That's kind of how it is. I just thought about like in Cuba, like we were like my partner and I were at this restaurant, and they had a CNC Music Factory video. I just want to add that because I thought it was quite cool.
Wow.
CNC Music Factory. I hope that they're doing okay. I'm sure they are, because Scott Rathke is here to help you. I love the fact that you tried. I definitely don't love the fact that it's shit. Reflections are tricky, huh? And I'm assuming, so the guys here are sitting on the bench, right, on the left, right? And there's a glass somewhere, and then the play is reflected, so the play is happening in the foreground somewhere, right? Or is it through the glass, you think? It's
I
probably
think
through the
it's
glass, huh?
through. Yeah.
Yeah. The idea is there.
Yeah. The problem with this is the lighting in the place was uneven to the point where you couldn't um, differentiate enough between the people on the bench and on the ice. Like that should I get what you're trying to do, but it should be very clear what's going on. And because it's not, it just raises more questions than it answers, really. And then having the people on the ice be that dark because the people on the bench, there was more light hitting them. I don't know, it just doesn't work. I mean, could this even be like a multiple exposure?
Let's see. Maybe he provided us with some clues. No, he didn't. Um, could be, but it probably isn't because that's over there, right? So the stick's over there, so it's probably not. I don't think it's multiple exposure. Maybe because
Yeah.
that guy over there in the foreground's a bit weird. But in any case, doesn't really matter shit. So,
Yeah, it didn't work. You can, if you go to a different place where it's lit a little bit better or where the light is coming from an angle that would be more helpful to the picture, like from the side, um, you might want to try this again, but as it is, there's not going to be anything here because of the lighting in this arena.
no. Good try. Shit photo. I've shot her a lot, by the way. It's Anya Zaton, probably. Yes, because I shoot golf. Because I fucking love golf more than any other sport in the whole world. Yes. By the way, like this type of shot is something that you get like a lot because golf is the most exciting sport to shoot ever. People get so creative and do this kind of like flurry in the bat in the foreground, and you get her or him doing whatever, like swinging that stupid thing and hitting that stupid ball. Um, Saying that it's okay, like I can't really fault. What happened? Hello?
I'm
You still
here.
there?
Yep. It went out for a little while.
Yeah, it's starting to go back again. Okay. So it's still okay. Um, Golf is all about the course more than anything else. It's about the course, the course, and you have to use the course to your absolute advantage. Like you have to be scouting it every day. Like where the sun sets, where the sun rises, and where the shadows are gonna be, reflections, everything, and that needs to be used on a golf course more than anything else. That's it. There's nothing else to it, I think, because the players will be players, and like I don't think they do anything interesting enough to make it exciting. It's the one of those sports that people get excited at certain moments, but not that many. So like for instance, like if they have a hole in one or a birdie or whatever, they sink a difficult putt. It's they miss one, you get to the happiness and the sadness. And they win the tournament, yeah, they got something like that as well. But I think most of it will really hinge on the beauty of the course. Certain courses not that beautiful. I've actually been to a couple that's like it looks like shit. But some courses are really just absolutely brilliant, and you kind of have to use that to your advantage more than anything else. So this is kind of a gateway drug to shooting golf like this, and this kind of like that the blue foreground thing. But it's just so average that yeah, I really want you to be stepping up your game after this and saying, okay, you know what, I can do this now. So now look at the big picture and see what you can actually get. Doesn't really matter who the golfer is. I mean, I want money. More famous, better. Obviously, this Tiger Woods against some fat white dude who don't really like rank like number 95th in the world. We don't really care about him. You know? But anyway, Tiger's not gonna come back for a while, so we move on because we got basketball. Jim, Michael,
Yeah, it's just okay. I mean, you know, the thing is that the idea is to continue trying things like this because you'll end up getting them doing something that works more to your advantage than this. Like if there had been, I don't know, arms sticking out and you know, just something other than this kid in the foreground just okay, he's shooting, so I'm going to look at the basket. That's really what's going on. And while you're looking at this picture, Jimmy, you're looking at his face and him getting ready to launch the ball, and what I'm looking at is that guy's expression in the foreground. And you need to get it to where the what's going on in the foreground is not taking away from the guy that's shooting, and that's what you have here. So it's good that you can see stuff like this. It's good that you're working on stuff like this, but you need something more interesting going on in the foreground, whether it's, you know, two players trying to box each other out or they're already battling for the rebound or something like that, and still getting the shooter's face and the hands and the ball. Yeah, it's a higher degree of difficulty, but that's the difference between a good picture and a bad picture. No.
No. Um,
So
I
you want this picture. You're shooting with a 400 from 8 feet away, not a 200 from 10 feet away, right? You need the stitching on the shoes. You need the wear and tear. You need whatever that mark is on his hand. You know, that's the picture from
yeah,
his
he was at the
hand.
club probably the night before. No.
Yeah. This picture is from the hand down to his toe. That's it. There's nothing else here, and there's no other way to make it interesting when you're shooting that wide on this. So,
Yeah.
if you want a detail shot, make a detail shot, but you can't make a detail shot with that short of a lens from that far away.
It's difficult, because like there's nothing interesting in this shot. Like the fact that he went to a club the night before is like the most interesting thing. And that, like, if you there's like there has to be something dramatic to the whole situation. Like maybe like he like his like toes poking out of the shoes, or he's got blood running through from his like bicep to his forearm, or you know he's got blood coming out. Like something dramatic has to be there for this to work, and there isn't. So it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't do it. Like there's nothing interesting here. Like even as a Nike commercial, I won't do it either because I don't really feel that there's just nothing there. Jimmy.
You need the stitching. That's how close you need to be for
There's
this.
just nothing there, man. All right. Maybe I have to just like wait a bit and it's like make it much prettier. No, but you get the gist. Um, no, I just kind of think there's too much stuff going on that is unnecessary, like the nose or the mouth or like the chin strap and the shirt. Like I, if it is something like this, I really just want to see the visor and the reflection and maybe the nose or something. Like just so
Yeah,
like you know.
it's so if you look at the visor and you look in the reflection, it's actually really cool. You can see where the track is. You can see the
Yeah.
sides of the track. It kind of curves in from the bottom on one side, and then it goes to a specific point on the top. So all that stuff is interesting. But again, that's a small part of the picture. Like the interesting part of this picture is the track and the other riders, but you've included her face and more of her helmet that is just not interesting. Like she's not, if she was smiling real big or if she had a bloody nose or something like that, then all of that stuff would be cool. But you're including a lot of unnecessary information in what should be a very simple and clear communication. That reflection is cool. The whole rest of it is occupying space that's drawing the eye away from the cool part of this picture.
No, no. Um, You know, like what's with the whole like low risk deal with the whole
I don't
thing?
know. Get past it. This is cool. This doesn't need to be here.
I think they just finished running, huh? Ah, so
Yeah,
that was
it's
a
like a
later thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
sprint, and this is the runoff of it. And it's
Yeah.
good. This definitely does not need to be here. I would prefer that the guy on the right edge be cropped out, and it looks like you barely, yeah, probably have enough space to crop him out, and I would have done that. It makes the picture a little bit less wide, but it also takes away the only thing that's really distracting in it. And otherwise, it's good. I mean, this is one of the things that we're talking about. Like it, yes, anybody could shoot them in full sprint with a long lens, but you waited. Um, this isn't something that people are going to see. Like when they're shooting it on TV, they're showing them running, and then they probably cut away at this point, so you don't get to see them running up the bank of the track and slowing themselves down. So it's good. I mean,
Yeah,
could something cooler have happened here? Yeah, definitely. But it's interesting. It does have a three-dimensional look to it, and it's not just a straight up action picture. So all those
I,
things are good.
I like the idea, like you said, but I'm just not too crazy about the photo itself. Like I think, you know, the fact that you're shooting something that's very uncommon, I love that. I think it's a great, 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 great thing. But I think it's just, yeah, something like the guy was like, jumping in the air trying to like bump into the whatever usually they have like a foam thing, right? So for the indoor track and just slow down. They have something like there like slow them down. Like I wish it was like guy was hitting that or something. Um, More interesting that could have actually had happened over here in this particular incident. Just didn't. So down a bit about it. So
Ugh.
mm, no, I
You know,
don't.
I
I don't hate it. I
ugh,
mean,
come on.
no, no, I don't really. No, that there've been worse photos by him, honestly, and I
I'm
think
starting to question whether or not he listens to the podcast.
he listens to like half of it, not the whole thing. You know.
I'm not seeing the response that I need to see from his pictures, and it's annoying because it seems like Reed. This isn't personal, obviously. I don't know you, but it seems like you shoot a lot, like constantly shooting something different, um, cycling, skiing, hockey. Um, what are you doing? Like I would expect somebody who is listening to what we're saying and has an opportunity to shoot a lot in a tight time frame to be learning from what we're saying, to be learning from things that you're seeing in your own pictures and coming up with better pictures. And this is not that, and the other one is not that, and the cycling ones are not that. So I'm wondering, what is your mission here? It's great. You don't kick back like some other people do about putting the pictures in here, and we appreciate that. But we do need to see some incorporating of the ideas that we're talking about. And this is, I don't know what you see in this, but this is not good.
I don't know. I kind of like the lines that are actually drawn. Like you got the kid lying in the on the ice, like versus with the kid who's actually skating with the thing. I mean, like I wish I could have actually seen the kid's face a bit clearer because it's really smudgy and obviously it's bad lighting and you really pumped up the ISO on this one. I mean, I do agree. He is very active on the training ground thing, but it seems like he doesn't really think about things when he shoots. He just kind of like snaps away, and like that's it. There's nothing like no lesson that he's learned throughout the course of the stay at BLFS, and we'd like to see a bit more of that. Um, does he? Do I think he made progress? No. I mean, you do have to like Matt said, like he does shoot quite a lot, and like the amount that he's shooting, amount that he's involved in BLFS, and we expect a lot more out of him. But it really seems like he's too reactionary about everything, and he doesn't really think about stuff in general. Like he's really just, I don't know, like he's just snapping up moments and not really thinking about lights or composition or anything of that matter. Like it's very sloppy, the things he does. And I wish he would just kind of graduate from that and like give, like I wish he was actually thinking a bit more in terms of actually just thinking before he even goes to the ring or to arena or anything. Say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this today. Like I think you should set some goals for yourself, because otherwise, like it just feels like you just, you're not learning anything. You're not really progressing anywhere. You're not going anywhere with this. So I'm not hard to, Matt Cohen, but I'm not really too crazy about this photo either. Yeah, I want to see this in the the big one. Well, I was in a really weird way. So like from what I know, racers, when they don the suit on to get on the car, whether it be Formula One or NASCAR or rally like this, they have quite colorful, things on, right? So when I saw this, it just like looked like another guy there, like who's a, I don't know, like because I didn't see it this big. Just a policeman or whoever, like just kind of hanging out, like looking at the car, and that just kind of ruined the whole thing. And on top of that, this guy over here just ruins the whole thing to me. Like it's unnecessary, because the most interesting thing is that kid pointing to the car and say, "Look at that fucking car over there." That's the most interesting thing, and I wanted to kind of like see that car and him as the only thing, but this dude over here just ruined it. I'd Photoshop him already. But like I said, this guy, the driver, to me, just doesn't look like one, and it really, really bothers me for some reason. No, you don't want anything?
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Okay.
I think even if that guy wasn't there, the it would still have to be recomposed to make the I don't know, to make the kid with pointing. I don't know. It's just haphazard. The way it's composed, it just seems haphazard. Like that, the car should be in the corner. It just looks
Yeah.
awkward. It looks
Yeah,
awkward
I don't
where it
think you
is.
can actually make it in the. Well, I guess you can actually shift it a bit, and make it in the corner, but I think that the fact remains that I think he was waiting. I think that happened in front of him, and so I got to shoot that, and he actually happened to have that kid pointing to the thing, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like it's there. It's not all there. You see this billions and billions and billions of times. It's the same exact photo. So what are you supposed to be looking at here? Like average photo is average. There's nothing more to it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just the only good thing about this is that she's above that line on the wall, but
uh,
it's too wide. There's too much information. Like, tell me what those chairs on the lower left-hand corner have to do with this picture. Yeah, they're there, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to report on them. It's just an extraneous thing, and you need to either compose differently or use a different lens or crop or something like that, because they're you're presenting these things as somebody should be looking at them, and everything in the frame needs to be helping your picture be more interesting, and those things are not helping. They're drawing the attention away, and when you're looking down there, you're like, why are there empty chairs in the lower left corner of this picture? And that doesn't even get into the weird angle that it's at, or the
that's weird.
um, it's just you want to be on the side, completely on the side, so that the beam is running along the bottom of the frame, or you want her to be coming right at you, or you want to be, super low so that she's the background is the ceiling or something like that. I mean, but again, it's just haphazard. It's like this is where I was standing and something was going on, so I turned around and pushed the button a few times. And we need to see more planning and more thought and more careful composition than this.
Yeah, and especially like in an event like this, gymnastics, where you know where people are going to be. Like it's not like
this is a gift. This is a gift. This is called the balance beam, and they need to be, either on it or they need to be falling onto it the whole time. The mount and the dismount, I think, is the only thing that's not on the beam, right? So this is a gift to you. You know where the action is going to be. So plan on being there and plan on what the background is going to be like and plan on the things that you want in the frame and that you don't want in the frame to be in or out of the frame, right? This isn't an accident. Like, oh, hey, it looks like this crazy person is coming out of the stands and they're doing a free-form ground routine or something like that. That's not what's happening here, right? This girl is performing on the balance beam. That's where all the action is happening. So don't make your picture look like you were surprised that somebody was on the balance beam. This is, football field, it's like 50 yards wide and 100 yards long, and you have no idea where the ball is going to be from the beginning to the end of the play. You know that they're going to be either a few feet above this thing or on it for the whole entire time that they're doing their routine. Act as if.
When Matt Cohen starts using sarcasm, he's not happy. Not happy at all. Ah, look, it's Matt Cohen's brother, Michael Cohen. No? Say your brother? Okay. Close enough.
No.
No.
Yeah, so it's, not
it's
this is yeah, this is not good. This is not you need something in the picture, and there's nothing in the picture, right? Even if the head was turned and you could see through the cage at the face would still have to be there would still have to be a kind of a cool expression on it, but we'll never know because you can't see it. So the thing about shooting backs is you just don't do it unless there's a really good reason to do it, and I would love to hear what the reason was that this was the picture that you decided to put up. I don't...
He's your brother. Your long-lost brother, Michael Cohen.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we don't want the same headshots, we don't want the same singles action, but that doesn't mean that everything is okay. It's not, there does have to be something interesting in the picture. So what are we looking at? The stickers on the helmet, or the...
Is that like the college sticker thing, like for American football, when they do like a good play, they get...
I think that's more or less what this is. But I don't know. I mean, he has good pictures, and I think that, I don't know if this was just trying too hard or trying to make something happen that wasn't happening, but this isn't. I have to think that you know better than this, Mike. I have to think that when you were looking at this, that there wasn't anything there, and if you thought that there was something there, I would like to know what that is, honestly, because I need to fix that, because there's nothing here. There's nothing that makes this a picture.
No, I don't see it either. I don't know what made him do this. Like, there's nothing there. My guess is that it's the stickers. But the stickers are they're not doing anything. It's not like
those stickers are never never going to be interesting, ever. Even if you were 3 inches away with a wide-angle lens, or an inch away with a macro, never ever will those stickers be interesting on that helmet. First of all, there's not enough to them. Second of all, they're whatever they are is not apparent. There's nothing here, and you can write in and tell us. I would really like to know, because we need to get you off of this.
Tell us why. That should be like a next section. Tell us why your photo is supposed to mean something. Like this.
Oh man.
It's Formula. People get such hard-ons about Formula One. I know that. They find it interesting too.
You know what? I wrote a post about this. You didn't design this car. You didn't engineer it. You didn't figure out where the wings are going to go. You didn't paint it. You didn't start any of those companies and choose a logo for it. You didn't build the racetrack. You did nothing here. This is less than a still from a video. This is, I mysteriously cropped off the nose and one side of it and added a vignette to it. So again, there's nothing here. I have to go find this now because the explanation of it makes me more irritated than no explanation of it. You didn't do it, right? You didn't do any of those things. All you did was push a button. There's no thought in it. There's no nothing in this, and it doesn't matter. Like, the car is interesting looking because you didn't use the light to make the car interesting looking. You didn't paint the car. You didn't do anything. And where's the?
That's been back from like high
okay, yeah. So here's the explanation. Managed to squeeze through this shot of blah 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 car, which didn't make it to the starting grid for the Australian F1 Grand Prix. It was parked very tightly against the fence. I liked this composition given how little room there was to get the shot. So I'm going to break this down real quick because this is fucking irritating to me, right? You didn't manage to do anything here, right? You managed to press down on the button. This isn't a picture. The effort that you extended here was from your brain telling your finger, okay, a little bit more pressure, right? It didn't make it to the starting grid. That is your job, to tell us why didn't it, and not tell us, show us, right? What happened? Did they have to pull out a truck to pull it off? Did they have to push it? So looking at this picture, I can't tell if the car is moving or not moving. I can't tell why it didn't make it. I can't tell if it's even on the starting grid. So you didn't show any of that kind of stuff. It was parked very tightly against the fence. Where's the fence? Not in the picture, right? So you're telling us all this stuff about this picture that the picture doesn't show. We are visual storytellers here. That's what photography is. So your caption means shit. The picture, what's in the frame, is the only thing that matters. And all you have is a car just sitting there. Yeah, it's not a Toyota Camry, but so what? There's millions of Formula One pictures out there. There are tens of thousands of Formula One pictures from this race. You liked this composition. Why? Because you cut it off awkwardly on two sides of it? What do you like about this? The vignette? What are we talking about? How little room there was to get this shot. Yes, they were shooting guns at me, and this is what I managed to get. Yeah, awesome. Your life was in danger. You did some crazy acrobatics to get the picture. Where does it come across in this picture that you did anything here other than tell your finger to put a little bit more pressure on the shutter button? I'm not, I'm using this as an example because people swing your camera around and shoot and you're going to get something, and it's almost never the case. And when it is the case, it's because you did the preparation, you anticipated what was going on, and with a little luck, you ended up in a great situation to make a great picture. You did nothing here. You were standing at a barrier and pushed a button, and part of it is in focus, but you cropped out the fact that it was the car was dead. You cropped out the fact that it was against the wall. You didn't compose it at all, no matter what you said. And so what do we have? A vignette and a click of a camera. It's just no.
I mean, the thing is, like, if this was the case, I was just thinking, like, how this could be a better picture. Like, if given the same situation, what would I have done? I would just like half the entire picture. Like, I would just like half it. So like, I would just like, if I have to take this, like from the same angle and same everything, I would just like, cut it like half. So I would just like of the left half. Like, it's so awkwardly cut on the right side. Like, the nose bothers me less than the fact that the right side is just terribly like just cut. Like for absolutely no reason. There's no reason for it. you have to be thinking a lot more than this, because this is just a fan snapping a picture at an Australian Grand Prix. That's it. There's no more than that. This is not a photographer's picture. This is just a guy with a camera who just happens to see a car, a beautiful car, and he took a picture, and that's it. Game over. It's done. But there's more to it. You have to be thinking a lot more, and you have to be giving a lot more thought. Especially, kind of going back to the, it's much closer to, this is much closer to gymnastics than it is to like football. That you know where things are going to be. Like the cars are going to be going around in the circuit, and then they go around like in order and everything as well. So like they do like a couple laps, and okay guys, gotta go the other way around. That's not gonna be the case. Like their cars gonna be going in a certain direction and in certain order, at least in the beginning anyway. And it blows my mind. Like this is the best one you could come up with. I don't know, like what is your position very like if you're actually there as a like we do keep on saying this, like there are a lot of shots that we see that look like, well, it's been shot from the stands. And at that point we just say, listen, just have to enjoy the game. I mean, you paid money for it, like why are you taking pictures? Like, just go and have a good time. Not like almost nothing that you're gonna shoot from that position is gonna render itself to be a great photo. And it's also might be the case over here with George Hitchens, is that like, if you're just there as a fan, like just go there and enjoy the whole thing. And if you want to take a picture, then really put some fucking effort into it. And there isn't any, and that's not really it's really frustrating for us to like see things like this, and I think on top of that, what really bothers us most is the excuse. Because we don't
because he doesn't see it as an excuse. He sees it as an explanation. This is why this picture is so cool. This is why I like it. This is why I'm holding it onto it really tightly.
Oh, yeah, he obviously doesn't. No, and it shouldn't be like this. Like for instance, like I never ever put anything on the fact that it's match between two teams, and if there's a famous guy in it, I'll just put the famous guy in it, and that's it. There's no more to it. Like, what else am I supposed to like tell you? Like, you can decide if it's actually good or bad, or you can decide what is happening in that, in the entire frame. Like, the fact that like I have to explain to you why I think this is good, just kind of, there's no point. Like, I think it's good because I feel like all these, elements in the photo is good, so therefore I'm willing to actually put that out in public. It depends on the public to decide whether it's good or not. But it's just like there's a big difference between an excuse and a description. You know what I mean? And in this case, it's just a bunch of shitty excuse. Well, I guess in this case, it's why this photo is the photographer of the year for the World Press photo. So. All right. Damian Cosisa. It's so awkward. It's an awkward photo. It's kind of funny in a way. Like, it's so awkward. I don't like. There's something going on. Like, I think the goalkeeper got the ball, and then the other guy came in full speed and tried to stop, and that's when he got this. It's quite funny. I kind of find it really, funny more than anything. Is it a good photo? Not really, but there's a like weird, kind of awkward humor there for me. But that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not okay with this. Like, again, it's timing. Like what they're doing in the picture matters. And what they're doing here is like having an awkward, almost collision. Well, if they collided at high speed, that's one thing. If the goalie was actually reaching out, if there was any kind of emotion going on, if you were closer, it's just a guy on his tiptoes and another guy trying not to fall over while he's holding onto the ball. That's it.
As we move on.
Yeah, so there's 3 feet above his head, but you've cut him off at the ankle. You cut the other guy off at the toe. Why? why? And if the answer is, you know, I don't know, it wasn't fast enough to recompose or something like that, then throw it away. But
Yeah.
what do we? Why? Why are we looking at cut off limbs like this? They weren't too close to you because you could have just panned down a little bit, and all of a sudden their heads are up against the top, and you can see their feet. So if you can't see that it's awkward like that, then there's not a whole lot we can really do to help you on this. Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate because there there's decent lighting here, and that guy kicking and having the red shoe but the blue uniform, and the other guy having a green uniform. You know, those colors and the lighting and the action, and it, you know, it's not great, but you're part of the way there. And all you really had to do was get their feet in the frame, and you didn't do it. But you know, it's still up. You put it up. You know, you didn't say, I blew this one. And we need to get you thinking that pictures like this reflect very poorly on you. And it doesn't matter if these are great players. It doesn't matter if they're your roommates. It doesn't matter what the score of the game was. This picture, you cut their feet off. Throw away.
I think if you want to prevent things like this from, you know, in the future, I'll try to shoot a bit wider. That might help. And also, like, you need to like think about where the focus point is. If you shoot a bit lower, so if you actually kind of like, you know, have the focus point right here in the middle, you kind of like, you know, make it like 2 dots down, like on here, you actually would be able to get things. You'll probably leave a bit more space on the bottom, because that's kind of how I do it, and that's actually like worked well for me. So yeah, it's not good, and you have to realize it's not good, and that it really kills it. This 3 people, toes and you know, feet missing, not good, not good at all. It really just distracts you from everything. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I think I know probably coaches, but it doesn't really do anything. There's nothing going on. If there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. You know? And
You
you
know,
have to realize
and again, it's sloppy. There's a painting in the top right, and there's a retired jersey in the top left, and yeah, the stroller and parents or whatever. And then, you know, after you get to all that, it's not like those things are distracting from something interesting that's going on. It's distracting from something that's not going on, which is anything.
and feet cut off.
Yeah, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad.
It's really weird because you shouldn't, like, at your level, you shouldn't be posting anything like this at all.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at this.
No, he should not be doing this. No, it's, you know, it's run-of-the-mill action superstar picture. That's it. There's nothing else to it. I mean, Reed, like, you have to, like, I don't know, like, you kind of have to, like, really start trying now. Give us something more like we've not seen before, you know? Give us you're actually trying a bit more and being creative and being, like, say, it's just, like, you know, constant, like, one part of the game or, like, one part of this particular scene, or try to go very, very wide or something, you know? Because it's just, like, I don't like run-of-the-mill stuff. I do a lot, you know, same thing. It's better because you kind of get the contrast of that and that, but that guy just doesn't, you know? That's it. Wow. So I think I just like tell people about. So first and foremost, thanks for watching the video, and thanks for you know, giving Matt Cohen high blood pressure, so you'll probably die in the next 48 hours. That's fine, you know. We'll get a lot more Matt Cohen stuff online. Turn them out in California. If you want more of us, please go to bigeventsfastshuttle.com. That's where we live. And if you want, and if you really want to, like, have a bit more of experience, like, because I don't, like, if you came to this video like by accident, I think the best thing to do is that we also run a Flickr group called Big Lens Fast Shutter, so you can find us there. We have a Twitter. We also don't have Instagram, because it'd be a bit weird. Maybe we'll in the future. And if you're a regular listener, you're just gonna start listening, and if you find it very, very useful what we're telling you, what you can do, what you can't do, making you a good photographer, it is never too late to send a couple bucks our way. Since this is a 100% funded, user-funded podcast, please click on the PayPal donations link on biglensfastshutter.com. It's on the right-hand side to show us how much you love us. So, there's no limit to how much you can love us. And yeah, here in NC, the training ground. And I guess we will see you on the podcast, which should be coming quite soon. So this is you, Vocal, and Matt Coyne, saying goodbye to you, my dear, wonderful listeners, and have a great time. And I need to find a way to stop the recording. Here it is. Okay, good night.